What's going on, Jets fans? Now the draft is over. There are still a couple of holes on this roster with some depth that I think could be solved by some cheap free agent post-draft signings. Number one, I think the Jets are bringing Quan Alexander. My hunch was that if the Jets didn't go linebacker by round 4, that they would bring Quan back, and they did not. I know they invested in linebacker in round 6, brought in about 3 undrafted free agents at the position, but Quan Alexander played 50% of the snaps on this team last year. He was durable. He was solid. He has a ton of familiarity with Robert Saleh's defense, and the investment of what we're talking $3-4 million bucks in a 1-year deal will be well worth it to round out the depth of this linebacking core. Next, I'm looking at defensive tackle. The Jets didn't address defensive tackle in the draft, and I wasn't optimistic they were going to. After Keanu Benton wasn't the pick in the second round, the value in this draft just wasn't there. There was maybe 7 or 8 pure defensive tackles that were worth drafting. A lot of tweeners. I'm sure they had their eye on Adebaware, who got picked right before us. But I'm looking at 2 names of guys the Jets have actually visited with in the past year. Number one, Al Woods, Quentin Jefferson's teammate, who we got formerly of the Seattle Seahawks. He's older. He's 6'3", 330 pounds. And Linval Joseph, of the same exact mold, similar age, similar play style, former Pro Bowler, not quite that level of player anymore. And I understand the philosophy of Robert Saleh's defense. They want to be able to get pressure with 4, be hellacious against the quarterback on any given down. And I'm willing to make the trade-off that they make and not be as stout against the run. But would it kill us to have one dude, one defensive tackle who is more stout against the run than the pass? I don't think they've had one on this roster since Robert Saleh took over. And Joseph or Woods coming in to play 25% of the snaps-ish on first and second down, I think would be a great addition to this defensive tackle room. Quentin Jefferson replaces a lot of the pass rush that you lost of Rankins, but he's really bad against the run. And some of the solutions of kicking JFM or Michael Clemens inside, yeah, sure, NASCAR package, third down, get after it, fine. That still doesn't solve the Jets' lack of run defense up front. And the pass defense was elite last year, but the run defense was kind of middling, and it was a little bit leaky late in the season. So I think it's an underrated need that could be solved with a 1-year cheap deal, and I would make an offer to Joseph or Al Woods. The Jets also said they've kept open lines of communication with Ben Jones, center. I don't really see that at this point. I think between Joe Tippmann and Connor McGovern, you're pretty good at center, unless they think both of those guys have guard versatility, and we want to have the deepest interior offensive line in the NFL because we still have Schweitzer and Castillo Colon. I don't really think that makes sense, but I'm not going to complain if they want to bring in a former Pro Bowl center after drafting a stud in the second round. Those are the names I would focus on the defensive side of the ball, linebacker and defensive tackle specifically. And this roster is in really good shape. And we'll talk ball soon.